Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and today I'm back with day number 17 of 30 Days of Sketches with Chrissy's Beautiful Life. Today's sketch comes from Kirsten, and it was a pretty fun sketch to work with. I pulled out my Say Cheese collection from Simple Stories, and I will be mainly focusing on Say Cheese number 2. I pulled out these pieces of paper in anticipation of using it for this layout. I really liked the polka dotted paper, and I had an idea for that paper to kind of go along with the sketch. I also pulled out this blue paper. It has a bunch of fun Disney words on it, and I tried to get 2 full lines of words on the blue paper, and I think that I managed to do okay. I also definitely wanted to use this film strip paper for the bottom half of the layout. So I cut that out of 2 of the pieces of paper. This paper is from the Say Cheese collection number 1. Once I got those pieces cut out, I lined up the paper on the layout according to the sketch. I lay down the blue paper, and I'm not 100% about it. I don't think the blue paper and the polka dotted paper mesh well together, but I figured I would lay my photos out and then make a decision on it. I have a total of 5 photos for this layout, and the right hand side of the layout does call for 4 4x4 photos. But the way my photos were cut, it wasn't really possible to cut them down to 4x4 without cutting out some of the details. So when I have that and I still want to do a block layout, I decided to cut 2 of them at 4x5 and 2 of them at 4x4. Then I decided that the blue just wasn't doing it for me, so I pulled out this black and white striped paper and added a 1/4 inch strip to that. I knew I wanted to mount my photos on white cardstock, so I pull out a piece that I had gutted from another layout that I had recently done, and I added the grid of photos on the right hand side all together. So they are matted as one big large photo. Once I got all 4 of the photos down, then I worked on this 5x7 photo on the left hand side of the layout. I then pulled out my layering guides and my X-Acto knife. I do have a tutorial on how to use this, and I will link it here for you guys. It truly does make adding a mat to your photos super easy. Once I get both of the photo sets cut out using the layering guides, I decide that I'm going to ink up all of the edges with my black soot. I felt like that would just give it a little bit extra for this particular layout. I inked up both sets of photos, and then I decided, might as well ink up all of the papers on the layout. Once I get all of the papers and photos inked up, I go back to the layout, and I'm not really liking that black and white stripe either. So I do look through the papers several times. I cut a bunch of it out. But I wanted to show you that I tried this blue paper, wasn't liking that. I also tried this blue buffalo check, wasn't liking that. And I finally landed on this light blue striped paper. It's blue and white stripe. And I thought that the 1/4 inch strip was also what was throwing me off, so I decided to go ahead and cut this strip of paper in a 1/2 of an inch. Then I had to ink up all of those edges in the black soot as well. And I am finally satisfied with the back of the layout. However, I did need to find one more piece that was a part of the sketch, and I looked through again several papers trying to find something that I would like, because the sketch does call for another piece. I pulled papers from all of my Say Cheese collections. It just wasn't working. Nothing that I could find I really liked. I did kind of like the black with the cameras on it, but I still wasn't 100% sold. I finally decided that, you know what, I don't need to do it. It's my layout, and I definitely took inspiration from this sketch, but I don't have to take everything from the sketch. So I am just sticking with the polka dotted paper, the film strip, and the blue and white stripe paper. So then I start to adhere all of my pieces down. I will tell you that that film strip paper at the bottom is one of my favorite papers from the Say Cheese 1 collection. I think that I have used it on multiple layouts. I am using my T-square ruler to put the blue and white paper down, and then I pull out my pencil and mark where I want the polka dotted paper to go, because I know that I want the polka dotted paper to overlap the blue and white stripe paper. So it looks like the blue and white stripe paper is a continuous piece of paper behind the polka dotted paper. So I get both the left and right hand side of the layout down with the striped paper, and then I'm going to add the polka dotted paper on top of it. And I really like the way that this has turned out. As I'm getting the rest of these papers down, I do want to encourage you guys to check out the playlist below so that you can see how everyone else interpreted this sketch. Once I got the papers down, I realized that something was off, and it was the film strip at the bottom. One of the film strips was higher than the other, so I had to pull up one side and line those up again, and then it was so much better. After I got everything down, then I laid out my photos. And the sketch does call for 2 4x6 photos on the left-hand side, but I did decide to substitute that with a 5x7. I also decided that I wanted my photos to be a little closer to the center edge than what the sketch calls for. After I got my photos down, I decided I wanted to ink up the white edges of my layout, and I did that on 3 sides. I did not do it in the center part. Off camera, I did go through some of my embellishments since I have so many of them, and I'm sure you guys don't want to watch that. But I kept a few pieces that I wasn't sure about, and so I thought that I would just audition a couple of them as opposed to having a ton of them trying to audition them. So there were several pieces that I thought about. I really liked this bingo card that says magic. I also liked this brown paper that had the stars and the washi tape already printed on it. I also really liked that yellow paper with the gray speech bubble and the red heart, but it just didn't work well with the magic bingo card, and that really was my favorite. So I inked up both of those and laid them down on the left-hand side. So my inspiration for this layout was the polka dotted paper, and I also knew that I had several stickers as well as some other 2x2 squares and other ephemera pieces that I could cut out. And I thought that it would be really cool to add additional polka dots to it using some fun foam with all of these different embellishments. I did decide that I also wanted to add some inking to match whatever paper was going on the polka dots. So for that yellow happy circle, I inked it with a yellow. Over on the right hand side, I added a half Mickey head that says, "Let's make magic." And then my title is actually going to say smile, say cheese, and repeat. These photos are some photos of me and Nicholas. He's one of my mom's foster child that was with us for quite a while, and we did have a Disney pass for him. At this particular day, the entire family had gone to Disney, but everyone else besides me and Nicholas was ready to go home. You know me, and I am all for staying later. I asked my mom, hey, can Nicholas and I stay for a couple more hours? So we did some of his favorite rides, and in exchange, we did some really fun magic shots and got some amazing pictures of the two of us in front of the castle, as well as other spots around Disney. 2 of the magic shots that we got was of Tinkerbell. One was in front of the castle, and one was in front of the tree, which is actually, the castle is to the left of us in the photo, but that tree background just makes it a little bit more magical as well. So I've gone through my embellishment books as well as my 2x2 cards and other cards, and I just pulled out any circle that I thought would work. Over in the left-hand side, I have a gray circle that says, "We're all ears." I also added the word happy and a word phrase that says photo op. I added another circle that says fun and a adhesive brad that has a heart with the word magic on it. Over on the right-hand side, I have the word fun and dream as well as magic. And I am just really filling in the circles as small little clusters all over the layout. Keeping in mind the rule of 3, trying to remember that I should be having 3 pieces in each one of the clusters, but kind of ditching the triangle rule for a more spread out embellishment clusters. I really pulled out all the stops on this layout, trying to add anything at all that I thought would work, especially a ton of these circles. Having all of the Say Cheese collections means that I have a ton of different elements that are very similar. I found this little guy in my embellishment book, and when I immediately saw him, I was like, that looks exactly like Nicholas on top of my shoulders. His arms are spread out, his legs are spread out. It looks like maybe he's dancing, but I was like, that's a perfect representation of Nicholas in the photo, so I knew that I had to add him. I did end up having to move some of the embellishment pieces on the left-hand side so that he could fit properly right on top of that magic bingo card. And I did put him up on fun foam because I wanted to add some dimension to him and make him pop a little bit. I also pulled out a wood arrow and a couple of other enamel pieces. And then that is it for this video. Here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. I did journal offline, and my journaling says, "It's moments like these that make me sing the praises of Memory Maker. This magical Disney photo service lets us snag so many unforgettable photos, ones we would have truly missed otherwise." So there we were, Nicholas and I, soaking up the Disney vibes. And after conquering all of his favorite rides, I thought, we need to catch some of this enchanting magic on camera. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.